The design of the courtyard of a private house, ideas and examples of landscaping. Living in a private house gives A+, the presence of a yard that can be arranged to your taste. Why not turn the area into a beautiful and functional space? A well-organized yard area is an additional space that you can use for hobbies and recreation. The balance of decorative elements and functional objects is important here. We have collected the basic rules and secrets of arranging the front and backyard of the house in different styles. How to properly plan the yard. In order to properly plan the placement of all functional and decorative elements in the courtyard of a country house, you need to answer yourself a few important questions. What is more important, functionality or aesthetics? If the first, put practical recreation areas and place out buildings. If the second, flower beds, artificial reservoirs, statues will help you. What type of holiday do you prefer? If active, you can consider the location of the pool or tennis court. If you like relaxing outdoor recreation, put a gazebo and a small fountain. Do children and pets live in the house? If so, it is important to take care of their safety, as well as consider places for walking pets or a playground. How to properly plan the yard. Ideas for planning the yard in a private house. Choosing the style of decorating the yard in a private house. There are several style directions that can be used when arranging the courtyard of a country house. English style. Making a front or backyard in the English style requires a minimum of effort from the owners of the house. If only because this direction assumes maximum naturalness, the yard should look like you didn't even try with its arrangement. Among the main features of the English style of the design of the courtyard area. Smooth lines, lack of symmetry. Tiered principle of plant arrangement, plant in height, first, grass and flowers, then, shrubs, behind them already, trees. The presence of irregularities in the landscape, small elevations resembling hillocks on the plain. Advice. In English-style courtyards, a pond or any other artificial reservoir will be especially appropriate, which will create a calmer and more comfortable atmosphere, and allow you to arrange a small recreation area near the water. Courtyard decoration in a private house in the English style. Beautiful and green layout of the courtyard of a private house in the English style. How beautiful to decorate your yard in the English style. Japanese style. Japanese style is more exotic for us. And this is more interesting, after all, such a yard looks original and attracts attention. In Japan, almost all homeowners have a small pond in their backyard. And now we are not talking about a pool, but about a beautifully arranged pond or a small waterfall that gives harmony and soothes. The reservoir can become the central element of the territory. Already near it, a recreation area is being arranged. Small bridges, if the area of the pond allows. Gazebos for relaxing by the water. Neat trees, such as dwarf pine. If you want to get the maximum concentration of the Japanese atmosphere, plant sakura in your garden. However, before doing this, make sure that the climate in your area is suitable for them. Mediterranean motifs. If you like the aesthetics of ancient Greece with its columns, statues and finds, you can embody this motif in your yard. The Mediterranean design of the courtyard of a private house suggests the use of stone for landscaping. It can be marble chips, and fine gravel, porous paths, and ordinary stone, which will be an exclusively decorative element. Abundance of plants. It is desirable that these be plants that can be found on the Mediterranean coast. Make sure that the design of the yard is filled not only with herbs and flowers, but also with characteristic fruit trees. If you live in a suitable climate, try planting citrus fruits, an olive tree, a small palm tree. You can decorate a flower bed with perennials and succulents. The recreation area is equipped in light shades, often using columns, stucco, rattan furniture. You can decorate the lounge area with arches, fountains. Country style. Country style implies a classic rustic atmosphere with its coziness and homely warm atmosphere. Its relative is the French version, Provence. Among the characteristic features of this design of a private courtyard, an abundance of flowers. Country prefers large, thoughtful flower beds, which are planted with plants common in your area. A universal solution is to plant roses or peonies, which will give the yard elegance and delicacy. If you want to achieve a more natural atmosphere, you can plant daisies, cornflowers and other flowers that grow on the plains and in the forests. Natural materials in furniture and decorative elements. Try to use less plastic, give preference to wood, stone. Choose natural shades, if possible, use rare old things as decorative elements. Consider a seating area. It can be a place for a barbecue, a small gazebo for cozy gatherings. Modern in your yard. If you want to get a more modern design of the yard near the house, take a closer look at the Art Nouveau style. This is the best solution for those who appreciate practicality and minimalism, conciseness and at the same time special luxury. Modern loves to experiment with shapes and lines, but does not tolerate an abundance of unnecessary decorative elements. Everything should be thought out and every object in the yard should fulfill its role. Among the main characteristics of Art Nouveau in the courtyard of the house. If you are equipping a pool, it should be rectangular in shape. As a decor, you can use the backlight. Less colorful shades, plant monoflower beds or pick flowers with the same color of buds. Furniture should be simple, without pretentious details. It is desirable, a combination of rattan and metal. Advice. Modern style is the perfect solution for a small yard. It does not imply the presence of large recreation areas, loves open areas without unnecessary clutter. Instead of a flower bed, you can plant a beautiful green lawn, and instead of an artificial pond, a more compact high-tech waterfall or fountain. The layout of the courtyard of a private house. The layout of a courtyard of a private house is another aspect that is best dealt with in parallel with the choice of style. It is important to think over the placement of all elements, determine the shape and area of the ennobled territory. To make it easier for you to do this, we propose to carry out the layout by dividing the yard into several functional parts. The front yard is the face of your home. It should look harmonious and complement the building itself. This is the area that guests and passers-by first notice. Therefore, most often, the owners of country houses concentrate not so much on the arrangement as on decorating the site. There are plenty of yard ideas that can be incorporated into the front yard. Take care of your landscape design first. It is important to create an aesthetically beautiful space with flower beds, neat shrubs and trees. Water bodies, especially beautiful fountains, look appropriate in the front yard. Advice: if you want to set up a place to relax in the front yard, make sure that it is hidden from prying eyes. Set up a gazebo with solid walls or plant a hedge. Backyard. If the front yard is in full view of everyone, the backyard remains hidden from the eyes of passers-by. But this does not mean that you do not need to deal with its decoration and decoration. Having a backyard is an ideal condition for arranging a secluded place to relax, a quiet corner where you can relax, read a book or drink tea. It is in the backyard that gazebos and a barbecue area, pools are most often placed. Recreation areas. Even the simplest courtyard design suggests the presence of recreation areas. It is not necessary to put a huge lounge area with sofas and a barbecue. Although, if the area allows, these elements will definitely not be superfluous. Most often, a recreation area means gazebos. These are small buildings, mostly made of wood. Inside you can put a few benches or a table with a set of chairs. The gazebo is also practical because you can be in it, for example, during the rain. Nearby you can place a barbecue grill. If you plan to build a pool, place a recreation area near it. How to create a lounge area with a barbecue and a dining area in the courtyard of the house. Setting up paths. To all functional and decorative zones, you need to think over the route and lay out the tracks. This not only creates a beautiful yard design, but is also a guarantee of safe movement. Especially during rain, when the ground can be wet, or at night. The paths are equipped with different materials: paving stones, gravel, asphalt pavement, tiles, bricks, crushed stone. You can use one material or combine several. Advice: how to carry out gardening of the yard. Without fail, consider landscaping the courtyard of a private house. Landscaping can become the main accent and decor of the territory. The choice of plants will depend on climate, rules of care, design of the facade of the house and the main territory of the courtyard. The main thing is that grass, flowers and shrubs should be in harmony with each other, bloom at the right time and in suitable shades. A harmonious combination of flowers in a flower bed in the courtyard of a private house. A good example of landscaping the courtyard of a private house. How to beautifully landscape a small yard in a private house. A beautiful combination of colors and shades of greenery in a large backyard. Harmonious colors for landscaping the yard in a private house. An example of a house backyard design with lots of greenery. Decorating the courtyard of the house with vertical gardening. The choice of area lighting. Your front yard design will go unnoticed for most of the day if you don't think about the right lighting. The presence of street lamps not only emphasizes landscape design and allows you to place accents. Lighting is also responsible for the safe movement around the territory. At night, the yard can be scary and dangerous if you can't see what's under your feet. What areas require mandatory lighting? As a rule, this is parking or garage, lounge area, paths, especially the main road to the house, flower beds, ponds and other accent elements, entrance to the courtyard and the house. Properly organized lighting helps to ennoble the house, place accents, make it so that the elements of decor or recreation areas will be visible even after dark. Advice: if there are high stairs or steps in the yard, they should also be illuminated. You can mount the backlight directly under the steps. Photo examples of the design of the courtyard of a private house. You can study for a long time how to equip the yard of a private house. However, it is much more efficient to consider ready-made solutions that will allow you to be inspired and, perhaps, learn something interesting for yourself. Landscape design of the yard is a creative and interesting process, especially if you plan everything in advance and decide on the style, layout and other elements. Using the recommendations listed above, you can think through everything to the smallest detail and get not just an ennobled territory. You will also create a cozy and beautiful yard with your own hands, which will become a place of rest for the whole family.